It's good to have if you're an CTO, especially kung very technical kang person, to understand the product itself of
Mm.
your product. But if you're into more business, or you drive customers rather than generating more income or the product itself, I think it's you're more likely on the business side, na hindi ka more into coding.
Welcome back to Kaka Computer, where tech meets wit and wisdom. So, for today's episode, interesting topic. It says from college to CTO slash CEO mindset. What separates top performers from average engineers over the long run? I'd say it's a pretty interesting one. So, who would want to go first? I don't
What,
know. Yeah,
what's the question ba?
hindi, I mean, you can just like far away relate to the topic. But sige, let's start with yung loaded one. Like, do honors and grades matter after your first job? And I think the answer to this is pretty obvious, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no.
Yeah.
It's a pretty obvious no.
Yeah.
Parang, have you actually ever? I guess depending on the background, right? I was a pretty mediocre student, at least depending on where you're coming from. But at some point, diba, after your first experience, parang yun na lang yung titignan nila pag nag-apply ka eh. Anyone want to parang add to this point or?
Sa experience ko naman, wala namang nagtanong kung anong jiwa mo after my first job. Most likely pag first job mo, yun lang naman yung reference mo eh. Either capstone mo, thesis mo, ano yung mga projects na ginawa mo. After that first job, wala na. Yun na yun.
Tama, tama. Pero yun nga, definitely, yung really mga top performers noon really got,
Yeah.
good a head start. But yeah, after that first bit, parang it's all level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What's
So-
the next question?
So the funny thing is, yun nga, parang ano ba ito ang CTO and CEO mindset? But I guess leading to that, no? Yung next point is, should tech professionals aim for management or stay as individual contributors?
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll take a first stab on it. I think for me, management and being IC is a very completely different beast of skill sets, right? Parang a lot of people who are very good engineers would necessarily not be very good managers, and vice versa, right? And like for me personally, as an engineer, I can't really find myself managing people. Like I just want to be a very senior IC or tech lead because it's really a different ball game managing people, and different politics, different people, personalities. And for me, I think it's a lot harder to be a manager, and that's why I would want to avoid it.
But people would beg to disagree. Anyway,
Siguro, it's between, are you a leader or are you a follower?
really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kasi yung nga, management and leadership are actually not parang are two different things, right? You can be a leader but not really a manager. So actually gusto ko lang balikan yung take ni Jed kanina na you can pretty much frame a lot of parang situations as problems, as engineering problems.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And naalala ko kasi may program yung Ateneo, di ba, na management engineering.
Yeah, yeah.
So what is that? If you find management and engineering as mutually
Yeah.
exclusive, so what is management engineering?
Right.
But before I guess I expound on what I think, ikaw ba, Boss Rod?
Yun nga, siguro additional na kasi tama na yung mga sinabi niya. Siguro additional lang. Different talaga siya. Different responsibility.
Yeah.
But if you are looking for, or at least trying to become a CEO, you need to be on the management side rather than an individual contributor. Kasi individual contributor, it's more on the worker. Sila mag-execute. And yung management kasi more on sila yung nag-guide, so which is the CEO.
I see. Well, I guess just to kind of wrap up that point, yeah, I agree. There is yung management in the sense that just being able to kind of coordinate and orchestrate an entire organization, whether it's your team or the entire enterprise. Should tech professionals aim for management, or I see you made your preference, parang you like tech engineering work more than management. Kaya sabi ko din, I guess people wouldn't agree. Some people would probably find management more sort of like palatable or interesting
Yeah.
for them. A lot of people would shy away from technology. So yeah, I guess depending on where you aim for, because even if you're an individual contributor, I think on the grand scheme of things, parang yung scope lang ng responsibility mo of a people manager and individual contributor. Pag individual contributor, parang yung outcome mo is based on yourself lang. Pero as a people manager, for example, you have a team,
Yeah.
parang yung performance, your evaluation outcome is also based on your performance and how you drive everyone under you.
Everyone. Yeah.
But even though you can say na you're individual contributor, because in some aspects like a project manager or I guess a solutions architect can be responsible for like a broad responsibility, a broad undertaking like an entire project or the execution of one. Pero wala pa rin talagang taong nag-report sa kanila. They're still individual contributors in their own right. But they do management to some extent, right?
To some extent.
But fundamentally, I guess it's up to our listeners then.
Yeah.
As a tech professional, take your poison. Let's say you want to be focused more on yung I guess yung technical role, or if you're interested in kind of like having that influence or that effect on the other people within your organization, then management is probably right for you.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, moving on to the next point, which is also a bit of a interesting take, no? Is entrepreneurship the new expected path for top talents?
Hati, hati.
I think even this room is split, no?
Yeah.
Start
for me.
yung mga, you're very entrepreneurial. No? Go for it.
Hindi siya siguro top talent for me. Siguro top talent still depends on the
No,
specific
you're the
person.
top talent. Your expected
if you
path.
can
Oh,
if you can do multiple things, like for example,
uh,
you're building your own company. You know how to do technical. You also know how to do management side. You also do marketing and stuff. So I think being an entrepreneurship with that kind of skill set can be or can be considered as a top talent. Pero entrepreneurship itself can't be. May parang kung entrepreneurship lang, hindi siya enough as basehan as a top talent. Maybe it depends on the context.
So if you flip it around, say if you see somebody promising, would you recommend to that top talent, promising person to take up entrepreneurship?
Again.
Sige. Next. Okay, well, what is your take on that point?
Si Jed muna.
I think for me, entrepreneurship is one of the end goals for top talent people, because that's where you really get to express your skill set in different domains, right? Marketing, technical, management, community building, TikToking. Parang it really covers a lot of skill sets, and not a lot of people have either the talent or the propensity to actually exert so much effort to acquire skill set in different domains. And for me, as someone who has gone through the entrepreneurship, I would say it's incredibly difficult. A lot of people don't make money or even lose money in businesses. And if you're a top talent, then maybe you have a higher chance of succeeding, and maybe you get a higher income ceiling, which entrepreneurship would be good for you.
For me, entrepreneurship, siguro may halong luck.
Yes.
When it comes to
I mean, the opportunity knocks once, right? If you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah.
Go.
but top talents, it's innate. You can nurture it over time, and I think if you don't have the luck or the courage to be an entrepreneur, either way you can't be an entrepreneur at all. So it's not really for everyone. For me.
Whether you're a company looking for visibility or a community friend who simply wants to support, every contribution helps us keep delivering episodes twice a week, and even more special features. Check out our sponsorship tiers and join us at patreon.com/kakacomputer.
Well, in a way, yeah. Parang yung opportunities can be few and far in between.
Yeah.
But there's always an opportunity if you look for it.
Or make it yourself.
Yeah, or you make it yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess, just to sum it up, if you're thinking about your college to CTO mindset, there's a difference. Parang yung comfort, I guess, coming from college, na parang everything is set out for you. You got your curriculum, you got your kind of path kind of worked out for you. as opposed to like being an entrepreneurship. Man, you're just venturing into the forest on your own, trying to forge your own path and figuring your way out. And I guess your point then, yung whole risk reward sort of compromise, right? You risk a lot, you potentially win a lot more, or you can go take the safer
The
route.
safer route.
But you'll be limited in rather what your potential is going to be like. Two roads diverged.
Yeah.
And I guess the entrepreneurs would be the ones who took the road less traveled.
Yeah, road less.
Wow, super poetic. So, so shifting gears a bit, really focusing on more tech stuff. Should a CTO or CEO always have strong coding skills? Tatawa.
Controversial kasi syempre may mga nangyaring issue about it. Siguro
But, di ba, may mga nagko-code yung president of Singapore, I think. Was it?
Yeah.
Siguro it depends on the product itself. Pero kung heavy
Well, yeah.
heavy software siya, di ba? Heavy software siya. So kailangan mo talaga ng strong coding skills. Like for me, for example, I'm building my own startup, Upskwela. So being a CEO is, or I mean, to build that specific product, I need to have a strong coding skills kasi it requires a lot of technical, diba? So if I'm gonna be the CEO or CTO ng Upskwela, I need to have that, and that's a requirement, especially if the product is heavy sa technical.
Of course, yeah.
Sa akin naman, it's good to have if you're a CTO, especially kung very technical kang person, to understand the product itself of your product. But if you're into more business or you drive customers rather than generating more income or the product itself, I think it's you're more likely on the business side na hindi ka more into coding. But I would say na magandang it's nice to have and it's recommended to have strong coding skills lalo na kung tech company yung binibuild mo.
Of course, yeah.
For me, kasi CTO is Chief Travel Officer. So as long as you can travel a lot, you can be a good CTO. But kidding aside, I feel like CTOs in general should have strong coding skills, but not necessarily be coding, right? Because at different
Other
stages of the
two different
company,
things, yeah.
the CTO can or cannot code, but still have very good, strong technical skills. And if needed, jump in to save the engineers. And it's hard to drive strategy if you don't have good technical skills. But in general, I think CTO should really have good technical skills.
It's just
non-negotiable.
Yeah.
and it's more as you to further your point. No, it's the coding skills in the context of having context of what they're building or what they're supporting or what the operations are. Not necessarily somebody who's doing all the technical work of building or pushing in code themselves. Fair point. Yeah, I guess we're all in the same boat in that one. So last but not the least, also another controversial take. I know we know the answer to this one. Is school preparing students for real tech work at all? And everybody's kind of like, breathing in and saying,
Sa Pinas.
I mean, you can really say that in general. Pero sige. Yeah, I can go. I was personally, young schools, academies in general, how they're structured. I guess I've been to a few universities already, so I'd say they would have certain objectives. They have like certain parang drafted outcomes behind every sort of program that they design, right?
Yeah.
And usually those outcomes that they define doesn't necessarily translate to say, oh, the student will become a good employee or a good worker. And I'd say if you're looking for that particular specific outcome, now you want somebody to fit in a particular workspace, then go for a tech vocational job that's actually focused on training that. So again, medyo controversial or leading question, but definitely there's a sort of like an academic sort of trajectory or view in building, academic programs. Basically, they're not like universities are not there to make workers.
Yeah.
They make academicians. But that said, there is a huge parallel between young skills you acquired undergoing an academic training that you can apply towards tech work or any work. But, as I've said, it's not designed. Universities are not really designed to make workers specifically. And a lot of the broader sort of universities, they wanted thinkers, universal thinkers, people who are kind of, well equipped to face the real world and can think and ponder and be productive. So yeah, that's a hard no, of course, and probably you'll probably echo the same sentiment, no? Sino na ba?
Siguro, for me, some schools are trying, no, are
Mm.
trying, but
Mayroong parang mga internships and some executive
yeah,
programs. But again,
they're
as a
trying.
whole, end all be all, it's not, sige,
Hindi
go.
siya, kumbaga as a whole, hindi siya nakafocus talaga
To train workers.
maging worker ka, especially in tech. Pero, there are some that they are trying. But yun nga, hindi siya totally, especially here in the Philippines, like,
Tinuturo ka dyan.
pero siguro, for me, kahit i-compare natin siya sa ibang bansa, tingin ko hindi rin naman, well, depende siguro kung anong school. Pero, usually kasi, yun talaga sa tech, sa school, hindi siya totally directly na naka-prepare or pina-prepare yung student na makapasok ka sa tech. It's only those students na gusto talagang pumasok sa tech. Parang hindi siya really about the schools. It's all about the people or the students.
So parang may intrinsic motivation dapat yung tao to get into tech.
Yeah, I think so.
Sa akin naman, for me, yung mga school kasi natin yan, it goes back to this same problem, education itself eh. So, yung ino-offer ng mga schools, meron dyan, ito lang yung i-offer namin para for the sake of, I think statistically, nakapag-graduate tayo ng ganito. But, on the largest scale, it's, kung titignan mo rin naman yung statistics, marami ang graduate pero it's not really all of them are going into tech at all. So, marami rin factors na kasali. And, yung mga schools, there are some talaga na dedicated to teach tech or prepared students for tech. But most of the time kasi, they are just preparing students to work, not really for to be tech ready. So parang binigyan lang nila ng tool, tas bahala ka na, ganyan. So they are introducing the tech but not really specifically for students na gustong mag-tech at all. So yun yung take ko.
So,
For me, my hot take is universities should not prepare students for work, right? Parang every year we usually have discussions with freshies and ask us sa UP, why don't we teach X tech stack or Y tech stack? And you always answer is you're here to learn computer science. You're not here to learn software engineering or how to be or how to work in tech, right? Parang universities are supposed to actually teach you theory kasi parang that's the foundation upon which skills are being
foundational,
built.
yes.
Right, so parang for me, in our orientation, usually in CS, they tell us if you want to learn skills for work, UP is not the place for you. Like people teach you here like theory, like foundation, like deep theory in CS, and parang for me, I highly agree with that because parang for me, I can be taught theory, then I can self-learn the application of the theory and then apply it to get work. So parang for me, it's fine. Not the universities don't equip you to do tech work. Kasi nga, at the end of the day, it's there to further academic knowledge, right? So,
which is also an interesting take, no? Kasi I went the other way. Na parang, as you know, my first undergrad was like from over 2 decades ago. So when I started encountering machine learning and data science at work, parang sabi ko, I need some parang adult supervision, some guidance, kasi these aren't things that I could learn on my own. So that's when I went in for grad school and started taking graduate statistics and data science stuff. And then suddenly, yung tawag dito, yung mga estimators, yung mga neural networks and how they're statistically modeled started making sense. So, on an interesting take, parang at that point, I actually went to school to learn something for work.
yeah. Deeper knowledge.
That's the opposite.
Thanks to our sponsors, Tutorials Dojo, Young CTO, Amazon Web Services User Group Philippines, Facebook subscribers. On to our next video topic.